Howdy folks. This morning the soap is from RazoRock. It's called Black Bay and it's a bay rum scent. And this is, I guess you might say, not your run-of-the-mill bay rum. Also, this is 5 ounces in this container of soap. It is green. And like normal, pretty soft. Most RazoRock soaps are fairly soft unless you get a What the Puck. What the Puck's very hard. And I've got it whipped up here in the Crown King Scuttle. You can kind of see there's quite a bit of lather there. And I got a RazoRock brush today. This is the Big Bruce. And get this set down here before I drop it. Got quite a bit of lather whipped up here. Get a little bit better whipping up the lather the way I like it, more on the wet side, and this one here is more on the wet side. Yeah, it seems like it's holding like the way I like for it to be. And I've already put a hot towel to the face. No bloom water today. I'm going to use a pre-shave. Here's my alum block complete with rubber band. Talk about that in a moment. As well as Thayer's Witch Hazel with aloe. And matching aftershave, which I think this is, yeah, 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters. And here's the pre-shave I'm going to be using today. Yeah, this has a menthol to it. It's a scentless, but it does have menthol. And I'd have to say, most of the time I don't really notice a scent to it. But I do notice the portion of the menthol being the cooling effect, but I don't really smell it. But that's with my nose, and your nose is probably a lot better than mine. Troy had brought to my attention that he had noticed in my videos that I don't wash, or rinse I should say, the alum off when I use it. And in some ways, do you benefit from, I was wondering in other words, do you benefit from rinsing the alum off, or do you really benefit if you leave it on and don't rinse it off? It also got me thinking, if I'm not mistaken, some aftershaves will mention in the ingredients that alum is one of the ingredients. I've always wondered about it. Ever since I've been using alum, I've always just left it on, just to, you know, get a good idea what's going to work for me. And I've always left it on. I don't recall ever, this knot's really loaded with soap. I don't ever remember rinsing it off. And I don't know with the application of witch hazel after the alum, how much a difference that makes as opposed to using the alum and then going straight to an aftershave, or nothing at all. I know alum, as it goes, what it does to my face most of the time. Because when I move through the video, I'm doing things at a different pace and a different way than what I normally do, because what I normally do might take a little long for a video, in that in between certain things, in other words, I'm cleaning up, so put the alum on and maybe I'm rinsing out the brush, and after the alum then I may throw the witch hazel on. Now I'm, you know, washing out the center of the scuttle and, you know, doing all that sort of thing, and then next thing you know, after that, then I'm putting on the aftershave. In other words, I'm, you know, got a routine going, and it's different than what it is on the video, because I'm sure you're not interested in me, you know, going through all that. day shaver is a gem Micromatic open comb, sometimes referred to as the MMOC, and it's got a gem blade in it. If you first time you've seen one of these, to me, considering how old these are, or better yet, if because they were, you know, made over a few years. But the thing is that this was a patent applied for, was it 1929? At any rate, as it goes for engineering for back in the day, it's pretty good. I like the Micromatics, they're pretty cool. Oh, and also, in case your first time you're using one of these, you can adjust the angle if you want to, but this right here is what I usually use for the my angle. I try to keep it flush up against my face to get a pretty smooth shave. In this blade is the Teflon coated, and Treat does a pretty good job, but the Teflon coated is just a tad bit smoother. Also, in my opinion, there's a clog proof, but as you can see, it does a pretty good job about not getting clogged up. Moves that lather right on through there. I really enjoy this shaver. For me, I get pretty good shaves, nice, close, without a whole lot of effort. With this being green, almost as goes for a theme, I think it'd be good to be using in around St. Patrick's Day. This scent's pretty nice. I would say if you're a person that maybe that doesn't quite take their care for the some of the other bay rums, this one here might be one that you might want to consider, because it's not typical, and it's definitely like if I can pronounce it right, Ogalalala. That soap's been around for a moment, and I have some, and it is that soap is a lot different. The scent is different. How it feels on the face, it's a lot different. It's just a way different bay rum, and that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at this one here and expecting to be like maybe some of the other bay rums you've used. Of the bay rums that I have tried, this one here is quite different, besides being green. The green doesn't bother me, it's just interesting that it's green. Of course, if I left it in my goatee long enough, it might change the color. I have got a lot of soap in my brush. It whipped up really nice. I have links down below, and so one of the links, the very last one, is a link to part of a book that has compiled a lot of information about razors, and that link will take you to some gem razors, including the Micromatic. To me, it helps excuse me, it helps me with knowing what kind of, in other words, it has a picture of the case that the razor would come in, that might be typical of the day, and that helps me understand basically what at least according to the picture, this razor came with that kind of container, that box, and it helped to know that you're getting perhaps the right razor in the right container. I really need to get that book though. I think Barnes & Noble sells it for I think around $40, I think is what the price was, as well as it also tells, at least Google tells me, there's not an ebook either. Not that I'm interested, but in case if you are. Like I said, I noticed the menthol, but I don't notice any scent to the pre-shave, and to me, it doesn't feel with the shave, unless you don't like that cooling effect, then you might want to look for a different kind of pre-shave, one that doesn't have menthol in it. Yeah, as you can tell, this does really well removing the soap for you. It doesn't clog up or anything of the sort. Yesterday, the blade I was using was a gem, and it was on a second use, but I did end up with one weeper. And it wasn't until well after the end of the shave that I noticed it. And I know last time I used a gem that was Teflon coated, I got 3 shaves out of it. But I think it may vary from shave to shave how many I might get out of a gem. I bought the 200 pack, if you will, from Ted Pella. And if I remember right, the math worked out to about 18 cents a blade, something like that. So you cut that in half, then you're looking at roughly, what, 9 cents? Pretty inexpensive, looking at the grand scheme of things. Now, some of you may not have a beard that is tough on blades as mine is. Mine's been pretty tough. In other words, a while back, we got 10 shaves out of a excuse me, Feather Artist Club Super, but that was really working hard at being very careful not to end up with a bad shave. So in other words, my shaves took longer. I was in other words intentionally trying to stretch the blade, and that's not what I try to do with these. I'm trying to get a smooth, comfortable shave, so 2 or 3 is what I get, and I don't, I guess you might say get upset or get worried about it. More interested in the smooth, comfortable shave. To me, the idea is no nicks, no cuts, no weepers. In other words, nothing of the sort, just a good shave. Not a BPS. After a while, you might see me how I moved across like that. It takes a little bit to get used to doing something like that without cutting yourself. Just a word to the wise. I have been thinking changing the normally I do videos on Wednesday and then on Saturday and Sunday, was thinking about squeezing one extra one in excuse me, this week, because I am been somewhat anxious to give a try with a straight razor. I've got a Gold Dollar W59, and it's the custom looking one, and I've been kind of anxious to get a shave in with it. I got mine from Strike Gold Shave. Excuse me. This is going to be a pretty smooth shave. It'll last me a good long while. I know last night when I was going to bed, considering, see what was going on, what was it, 9:30? Feeling around my face to see how much the whiskers already came back. Not a whole lot. I don't know, I think it's pretty close shave. Like I say, yesterday with only one weeper, get a shave like that that'll last that long. Yeah, that's pretty nice. A little bit later, I may have to get a little bit closer to the mirror, see how much is left up in my goatee. It's already been washed once today, may get washed again, who knows. Can't run around with a green goatee, that would not be good. Especially in the office. This scent is really nice. Like I said, it is not typical of a bay rum scent that I'm used to. In other words, I don't notice any cinnamon. And cinnamon, I think, is one of those scents and or ingredients that may have a tendency to irritates people's skin. And it doesn't, for me, I wouldn't call it an irritation. There's just I can feel it, yes, but it's not to the point where, oh no, I can't use it. It's nothing like that. It's just, in case you might say, just lets me know that it's there. So, if you could help me out, and maybe you know, I haven't taken the time just yet to hunt down a video or a thread in a forum whether or not, you know, what's the purpose behind rinsing outside. Maybe it says so on the instructions, which is fine if that's what it says, but for me, I kind of like to know why a person might want to rinse it, and maybe it has something to do with how this may work into your skin over time and get in your system, and some people maybe perhaps don't feel like that's a good thing. I don't know, for me, for no more than what's put on there, I don't know that it's that big of a deal, and if it is, maybe I shouldn't be using it. I don't know. Just my thoughts on it. Here's the witch hazel. I don't know. It has always kind of had me wondering. I have to say though, this witch hazel, if you're looking for a witch hazel that maybe after you have a shave and it's very close and kind of feel like your pores are somewhat open, maybe just teeny tiny little nicks or cuts or anything of the sort throughout your shave, with this having the aloe in it, it'll help calm it down a little bit. And if you're looking for an aftershave that does that rather well, in my opinion, with my experience, Barbado is that's a pretty darn good aftershave. Does a great job cooling, calming the skin down. In my opinion, and when it comes to aftershaves, one of them that's also pretty good is Stetson. The one that has says cooling on there on the label. That one there, I really like. Not only do I like the scent, but I like what it does with my face. It does really nice. It just calms it right on down, and things, I can say, feel back to normal. Some Black Bay here. Yeah, 100 milliliters it says. This will be my second time using this soap and aftershave. When it comes to RazoRock's soaps and aftershaves, they are very well priced, especially compared, wow, that smells good, to a lot of others. In other words, the aftershave, I think it's right around the $10 mark. You know, it also depends if you wait for things to be on sale and get it in a bundle. So in other words, you get the soap and the aftershave for, I think I got mine, I'm wanting to say, was it $17.99? I can't remember. It might have been less than that. It's been a moment since I bought it, and I've slept a few times. Face feels really good though. This scent is, I say it's not, in my opinion, it's not your typical. It's a little further down on my list, but Ogalalala, I need to, I don't have one of their aftershaves, and I need to get some of their aftershaves and get some more of their soap, because my puck is getting pretty thin, and it's time to get a replacement. So once again, soap of the day was RazoRock Black Bay, and yes, it is green. Use the, after the shave, I use the alum block complete with rubber band. Rubber band's there so I can hang on to it, don't drop it. It'll end up in a million pieces. There's witch hazel with aloe, followed up with the Black Bay aftershave from RazoRock. And you did use a pre-shave, which is relatively new, because normally I take the bloom water, put it to my face, and that's what I use for the pre-shave. And this is what I've been, this is pretty, not only is it great for traveling, but for me it's just keeping things a little bit neater if you don't have, I got some others that I'll eventually get to. In other words, that's my purpose, is I'm going to start using a pre-shave, not only to see if it actually helps any at all, but also because I have some and I need to work through them. And this is the only one I have in the tube. The others, I need to find something to set it on to let it dry in between shaves. And I think Aaron has got, I think it's Aaron. Anyway, look on Etsy. I think there's a little tray for those to be setting on. And of course the shaver of the day was the, there it is, Jim Micromatic open comb with a Jim blade. To me it's just, if you can see it, when you get, it just moves forward just ever so slightly right there. That is so cool. Considering how long ago, back in what, late 20s, early 30s, that is just awesome. And if you're wondering what it looks like, I don't know if you'll be able to see that label or not. It says Jim on there. And then on the back side, on the spine, I don't know if you can see that or not, it'll say stainless. But at any rate, that's what it looks like, if you were wondering. I'm going to put it over here. Had a great shave. I really enjoy shaving with this. So in other words, Friday I might have another shave with the MMOC, and maybe on Saturday morning I'll have a straight razor shave. I'll have to give it some more thought. At any rate, everybody, hope that everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.